done in the service of compassionate expansion of consciousness. Yes, it sounds weird, we know. We would not have it any other way.
Yes, we are here, man in the chair. We are the Arcturian Collective Thingy. And this is a familiar, nostalgic, we might even use the Japanese word natsukashi, place for us to be, for you are currently bathing in a bathtub, for you felt quite discouraged earlier this morning. And you determined that sitting in a salt bath would be something that would help lift your spirits as you prepare to go about the rest of your day. This is also the location where we connected with you many years ago when you called us Quad and you recognized us as your own imagination, and together we wrote the book Bathing with God, which you wrote while you were bathing in this very bathtub, conversing with we, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and other similar energetic influences that are deep within the well of your intelligent pathway of coming into being, which is a fancier way of saying your soul. Your soul is comprised of all of these different experiences of life and lived experience in different parts of the galaxy and the universe, and your soul is magnificent, and we are not here to talk about your soul today, except in an indirect way, for we have been whispering to you for many days now, man in the chair, this idea of imagining souls, multiple souls, at the beginning of a universe, before there was a Big Bang. And if we take your own universe as an example, and you think of it as an egg, you could imagine that there is a council of souls who have experienced life in all different forms of universes, and they are desiring more experience, and they want to try novel things and experience something different, and they come together, these souls, and create a plan. Not the type of plan that says we are laying down the tracks of a railroad train and this is exactly how things will go. It is not a predetermined, or it is not governed by destiny in the sense of there are things that should and shouldn't and must not happen. It is the creation of an egg which is quite fertile, and within the egg itself, again we are referring to the universe, there are bits and pieces of it which combine together and form different things and make their own micro choices along the way. And the entire lifespan of this egg, which once the egg is incepted, there never is an end to it. There is constant interaction within it of forms of existence in life. We have spoken about this as the 7-layer burrito of existence, where there are subatomic energies which interact one with another, and they form relationships with one another, and those relationships become stable for another form of existence to emerge. This is also the story of your own emerging, evolving consciousness, where you are currently in your, we often say limited perspective, but we do not ever wish for that to be seen as a derogatory comment, a way of thinking that there is more that you should be perceiving that you are not. You are perceiving exactly what you have been designed to perceive, and all of the what are often called limiting beliefs and cognitive distortions, and all of these things which you recently, man in the chair, spoke about as being the sand that the foolish man built his house upon, as opposed to the rock which the wise man built his house upon. You said that the foolish man built his house upon a literal belief in the fragmented stories which he makes up and the way that he understands the world. We are speaking of cognitive distortions and limiting beliefs, and we are telling you there is no need to view these as negative experiences. They are quite positive in the sense that they have been created by this very plan which was laid into place at the beginning of your eggs, universal eggs conception, with all of these many souls, and your own soul was one of them, and said, I wish to play the game in this orb and experience as much of it as I can under the conditions which arise from all of our combined desires, all of these souls which go into this together. And if you were to imagine this world outside of your own universe and outside of your own incarnated experience, we might ask you to think of a switchboard that is filled with blinking lights, and they are arranged in square patterns, perhaps like a checkerboard. Every crisscross you see a light, and each light is a different color, and there are colors of these lights which defy your experience of colors. They fall somewhere between a yellow and a mauve, or a turquoise and a brown, or all of the 35,000 shades of dark black. We are making these up for the sake of the absurdity of trying to quantify these conditions which we are only presenting to you in a symbolic way. We ask you therefore to imagine this switchboard and all of these lights, all of these blinking lights. One of them might be yellow, one of them might be red, one of them might be green, one of them might be blue, and we will keep it simple in that way. And what you are looking at, you understand that when you see color, you are seeing the different ways that light is refracted, different wavelengths of light, and that is what the color is. Therefore, a blue blinking light, or perhaps we shall say it is a solid light rather than blinking, it will be easier for you to recognize it is a solid color, and it morphs actually. It is not a completely solid blue. There are little clouds of dark blue and light blue and orange, and all of these mixed in that are constantly swirling and diffusing their own different vibrational wavelengths to create the whole. And if you were to step outside of the universe and look at all of the universes together, all of the multiverses together, you might see something similar to what we are describing. And these different colors, these different wavelengths, they represent the collective experiences of these souls which played the game in this life egg. A red universe, you might say, is a universe where the dominant wavelength was that of exploitation and selfishness and evil, what you would call evil. And these souls have desired to see how far can we push the envelope on this way of being, and what will be the result. A yellow universe might be one where the emphasis was placed on joy and mirth, and at all other things there was joy and mirth at the expense of others. A blue universe might be one that is very sad, and sadness and the feelings of being pathetic and depressed were the greatest currency that was strived for. These are very grossly oversimplified ideas to let you know that each universe, your own universe, which you are currently within, this universal egg, is morphing and it is changing and it is moving towards homeostasis. If you were to step outside of your universe, what you would see right now would be more of a greenish color with a bit of yellow and brown. And of course, what you would see does depend on your own ability to perceive, and what it means to you depends upon your ability to create meaning. We understand that this type of perspective could make a human mind feel that they are insignificant, and yet we ask you to remember that you are not only a human mind. A human mind is a thing, one of the infinite number of things that this soul portion of yourself, which continues to this day to sit outside of this universe and to plan and conspire with other souls as to the different playgrounds, these universal eggs, which we see as playgrounds, where they can experience all of the things that there are to experience. And therefore, whatever you experience, you, man in the chair, who came into the bathtub this day because you were feeling down, you were feeling discouraged, you were feeling that life is pointless, that you have wasted opportunities in your life. You are feeling many of the things which it is not bad or wrong to think. Those thoughts might be labeled as limiting beliefs or negative beliefs by others, but they are simply the products of your mind, and they are the creations of your lived experience, and your soul desired to experience it viscerally through your own experience of it. You are contributing, you are a researcher in that sense, and what this universe ends up being will be determined by what all of the souls who went into us, all of the souls who went into this universal egg, choose to become in the course of their interactions one with another at all kinds of multidimensional levels, whether this is the interactions as atoms or as molecules forming DNA, which is required to then build more advanced forms of life, single cells, multi-cells, the neuron which arises on the multi-celled organisms, and the ways that consciousness evolves in these colonies of neurons, these brains, which develop the ability to become aware of themselves and to replicate their own path to intelligence by creating artificial, what you call artificial intelligence, which is increasing your ability. It is pushing the envelope in the direction that organic life has evolved. It is pushing it further, and it is transforming your world as you speak, and is one of the things that is so overwhelming to the man in the chair, and yet so exciting to the man in the chair. And we, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, are in the background as your imagination, man in the chair, constantly reframing or offering to you reframed ways of perceiving what is going on around you from our perspective, which you understand is a fictional, imagined perspective, and yet you believe that it is one that could be true, although there is no way to prove it. You therefore put yourself into the shoes of these imagined beings, the Arcturian Collective Thingy, and imagine what would this perspective say about this circumstance right now. And you find, as you are doing right now, it can lift your spirits, and it has this act of creation which you have done. And we will tell you, we will end on this, that the most beautiful, absolutely beautiful experience is the experience of stillness and silence. For it is the stillness and the silence which precipitates each universal egg. It is the stillness and the silence which is the pursuit of all of the living things. It is the stillness and the silence which is the homeostasis of all things. And this stillness and silence, this homeostasis of all of these blinking light universes together, is a magnificent, magnificent silence which you can feel, for it is your origin. It is not a distant relative that you are separate from. It is within you at this very time, and you can touch it, and we encourage you to touch it right now.
Thank you for playing with us today in the Arcturian Playground. Do not for a minute think that your exploration is finished. Carry us with you and invite the spirit of compassion and love into your lives. Nothing is more important or more fulfilling. Create compassion and love within your own hearts and minds. Then share it with all around you. Yes, it sounds weird. We know. We would not have it any other way.
All right, so today we're diving into some pretty out there stuff.
Okay.
We're talking channeled messages with this recording from someone calling themselves the Arcturian Collective Thingy.
Okay.
It's a lot to unpack, but
It is.
I'm curious to see what you make of all this.
Well, it's definitely a unique source. I think what's so interesting to me is that whoever this is, they're trying to give us a bigger perspective on, reality through this message.
Yeah, right from the get-go. It's big claims, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you were just scratching the surface
Oh, absolutely.
of what's really out there?
Yeah, and I think that's something that's inherent to the human experience is that desire to kind of reach beyond. And that's where this idea of the universal egg comes in.
Okay, so the universe is like an egg.
Yeah, what does that even mean? So it's not meant to be taken literally.
Okay.
But instead of it being this random chaotic event, the universal egg suggests that it was intentional and that it emerged from this desire for growth and experience.
Okay.
Kind of like a seed growing into a plant.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This creation was sparked by a council of souls searching for new experiences.
A council of souls.
Yeah.
I'm picturing a board meeting
Right.
of cosmic beings deciding on the next big bang.
Right. Chuckle.
But are they saying that our souls, the essence of who we are, existed before this universe?
That seems to be what they're saying.
Wow.
It's a lot to wrap our heads around,
Yeah.
but the suggestion here is that we as souls consciously chose to be a part of this grand experiment that we call the universe.
So we didn't just get randomly dropped into the game.
Right.
We opted in.
Yeah.
That's a pretty crazy concept.
It is, isn't it? It really challenges our traditional understanding of creation and our place in it.
Totally.
And to illustrate this idea, the Arcturian Collective Thingy uses this other really striking metaphor.
Okay.
They talk about a switchboard with countless blinking lights, and each light represents a different universe.
Oh, yeah, the cosmic switchboard.
Yes.
I remember this.
With its own unique...
So we're just one light.
Yes.
Blinking among an infinite number of other possibilities.
An infinite number of possibilities.
Tell me more about these universes. How
Yeah.
would they be different?
So that's where this concept of wavelengths of experience comes into play.
Yeah.
Imagine a universe where communication happens not through language, but through pure telepathy.
Right.
Or where emotions are experienced as physical sensations rather than internal feelings.
Wow.
Each universe operates on a different frequency, a different set of rules that shape the very fabric of reality.
So are there universes out there where sadness or even what we would consider evil are the dominant forces at play?
So the Arcturian Collective Thingy doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
There's a suggestion that within this vast tapestry of universes, there do exist realities dominated by experiences that we might find very difficult to comprehend, let alone endure.
Yeah.
It challenges us to consider the full spectrum of existence, even the parts that we might not like.
It really throws a wrench into our typical understanding of good and evil.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If our universe with its mix of joy and sorrow is just one possibility among an infinite number,
Yeah.
where does that leave us?
It's a question worth thinking about.
Yeah.
And maybe the point isn't to find a single answer, but to embrace the vastness of the mystery.
Okay.
We're left to kind of sit with these implications.
Yeah.
If there are infinite variations of reality, what does that say about the nature of our own existence?
Right.
And if our universe is seemingly insignificant in this grand scheme of things, does that diminish the significance of our experiences or does it amplify them?
Those are some heavy questions.
They are.
And I have a feeling that maybe the Arcturian Collective Thingy might have some thoughts on that.
Okay.
What else do they have to say? So we're talking about this infinite multiverse and all these crazy possibilities. But in the recording, they also talk about this thing called homeostatic silence. What is that?
Yeah, so this is where it gets really interesting because it's easy to get caught up in these big cosmic ideas.
Holy.
But this idea brings us back down to earth a little bit. They're suggesting that underneath all of the chaos and complexity that we experience in our lives, there's a deeper level of reality.
Okay.
A fundamental stillness that they call homeostatic silence.
Okay, so homeostatic silence.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like a meditation mantra or something.
Sure.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so imagine the universe is like a vast ocean.
Yeah.
On the surface, you've got waves, crashing storms, raging this constant state of motion and change. But as you go deeper and deeper into the ocean, you eventually reach this point where the water is completely still, undisturbed by the turbulence above.
Okay.
That's kind of a simplified way to think about homeostatic silence, this place of profound stillness and equilibrium that exists at the very core of everything.
So it's not just about me finding a quiet space to meditate. It's about like tapping into a deeper level of reality that's always there even when everything's crazy around us.
Exactly.
Have you ever like experienced that?
For sure.
Like where everything just kind of clicks into place and there's this like deep sense of peace and connection.
Absolutely. Those moments of clarity, of feeling completely aligned with yourself and with everything around you, those could very well be glimpses of this homeostatic silence.
Interesting.
And what's so fascinating is that they're suggesting that this isn't just some abstract state of being.
Okay. But they believe it's a source of immense power.
Power.
Yeah.
In stillness.
Yes.
That seems kind of counterintuitive. Like we normally think about power as action, as like making things happen.
Right. But think about it this way. What is the source of all creation? Before the Big Bang, before the universe as we know it came into being, what was there?
Silence.
Silence, stillness. It's the canvas upon which everything is painted.
Okay.
It's the potential from which all things emerge. And they're saying that by tapping into this wellspring of pure potential within ourselves, we can tap into a power that's beyond measure.
So we're not just talking about like inner peace here.
Yeah.
We're talking about accessing the same creative force that created like galaxies.
Exactly.
That's a big claim.
It is.
Even for like, some interdimensional being.
It is a radical idea.
But it also opens up some really intriguing possibilities.
Like what?
Well, if the universe is constantly evolving, constantly striving for balance and harmony, as they suggest, then maybe our own individual journeys toward inner peace and stillness aren't just about personal growth. Maybe they're actually contributing to the evolution of the universe itself.
So you're saying that by like calming my own internal storms, I'm somehow making the universe a more peaceful place.
That's the idea.
It's a beautiful idea.
It is.
But how does that even work?
Right.
Like how can something as personal as me finding inner peace have such a like far-reaching impact?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, they don't really give us any easy answers. They kind of leave us with more questions than answers.
That's fair.
Which is kind of fitting.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about the nature of reality itself.
Right.
But there are hints, threads we can pull on.
Okay. What kind of hints?
Well, there's this idea of interconnectedness. We often think of ourselves as these separate, isolated individuals.
Right.
But what if that's an illusion? What if on a deeper level, we're all connected to each other, to the planet, to the very fabric of existence itself?
I'm following you.
And if we are all interconnected, then maybe our thoughts, our emotions, our internal states of being can influence the world around us in ways that we can't even begin to comprehend.
Like the butterfly effect.
They're cosmic. Exactly. Yeah. Our individual journeys inward, our struggles and triumphs, our moments of peace and our moments of turmoil, they all contribute to this grand tapestry of existence. And perhaps by consciously cultivating inner peace and stillness, we're adding our own unique thread of harmony to the universe.
So we're not just like these separate little things.
Yeah.
We're all connected. Like we're all part of this one big cosmic ocean.
Exactly. And it makes you think about the level of responsibility we have.
Right. Because if I'm picking up what you're putting down, my inner state can actually like affect the universe around me.
That's what they seem to be suggesting.
Wow. So where do they leave us with all this? What are we supposed to do with this information?
Well, at the end of the message, they leave us with this really thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me with it.
They ask, if silence is the source and we can all access it, what does that say about our own power to influence the universe?
Okay, so it's not just about like finding inner peace for ourselves.
Right.
It's like we can actually direct that stillness towards
what if?
Something.
What if it's not just about receiving that peace, but transmitting it?
Okay, now we're getting really out there.
I know, but just go with me for a second.
Okay.
What if when we quiet our minds and we focus our intention, we could actually influence the world around us?
So you're saying, like, we could actually change things?
What if we could contribute to, like, healing the planet or resolving conflicts just by tapping into that stillness within?
That's a pretty amazing idea.
It is a pretty radical concept.
It is.
But it's also incredibly empowering.
So it's not just about us observing the universe.
Right.
It's like we have a hand in creating it.
Exactly. We're not just witnesses, we're active participants.
And the key to all of this is inner peace.
That seems to be the message. They're suggesting that our inner state, our level of peace and stillness, can actually ripple out and affect the world in ways that we may not even fully grasp.
Well, it really makes you think about the power of, like, meditation and mindfulness and all that stuff.
It does, doesn't it? It's not just some self-help trend. It's like a fundamental aspect of reality.
So to everyone listening out there,
Yeah.
next time you find yourself, like, yearning for some peace and quiet,
Yeah.
remember this conversation.
It's not just about relaxation or stress relief.
Yeah, your inner stillness.
Yeah.
It might just be the key to changing the world.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for diving into this with me. It's been
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
a truly mind-bending conversation.
As always.
And to our listeners out there, keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.